Good. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everybody. Happy Monday. Good morning, Michael. Okay. I believe you're seeing my screen. Yes, Stephen, I got it. I mentioned it. I didn't see you early. I think I mentioned it earlier in the meeting yesterday before you got there. I appreciate that. Haven't had a chance to look. Had family at the house literally until I dropped my son off at the airport at 11 p.m. last night. So, all right. We're just going to give the stragglers a chance to make sure the audio is on. You should see the screen. We should be ready to go. Good morning, Perry. If I haven't seen you, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, great weekend. Enjoyed your Black Friday shopping. I had too many people, too much family. little too much. Glad everyone's gone. All right, welcome everyone. Market Watch Group weekly opening bell. My name is Scott. It is 9:15 plus 2 minutes a.m. Eastern time. We are going to talk about the weekly opening bell. Here are the disclaimers. They don't change. They're in your emails. Here is the agenda. Opening futures and news. What's going on? That's our first matter of business, is making sure that we have a strong sense how the market looks like it's starting and where that fits in line with what we saw over the weekend in our posture. We're going to review the economic calendar, what's coming up this week, and what our market posture is. Any mindset for any open trades. Out of curiosity, did anybody here buy cheap puts because they were cheap, and just because you were carrying something, or you had some bullish positions you wanted to hedge a little bit? Well, if you did, let me know. I'm very curious. We identified a very strong VIX. VIX was very low. Options are fairly cheap right now. That's a good thing. Yes, Barry said, awesome, love it. Okay, we'll watch the opening range this morning and see what happens. It looks like we're set for a little bit of a negative opening. And we'll see if that opens negative and continues negative, or opens negative and recovers a little bit. The watch list looks great right now. I mean, everything about it looks good. A market pulling back right now for me is like beautiful. It's what makes the most amount of sense. So what's my early plan is, let's see what this consolidation does. We should have plenty of things setting up and be ready to trade. I'm definitely looking for a trading window this week. And we'll talk about routines. Of course, that's the trading plan section of the week. Routines, section 5. They should be, remember that every routine you have should be defined by way of when, like what time you're going to do it. And you're trying to be as consistent as possible. For how long, right? Is it a 15-minute routine window, a 45-minute routine window, a full hour? And then what? And lastly, let's note that the what should be in order, prioritized. That's it. If you have a pre-market routine, it should be at what time, for how long, and here's the things you look at, like we're doing here. What do we look at and why? We talk about that. Okay, so let's dive into it. Futures are negative. Not outrageously negative, mildly down. Minus 0.2% on the S&P. About the same on the Dow. About the same on the NASDAQ. Closer to 0.5% on the Russell. Closer to 0.5% on oil. Oil is also down. Futures stall, but stocks head for blowout month. Yeah, November was a phenomenal month, right? October, we missed what we were looking for, and then it came in November. A little delayed. A little delayed. Inflation data put stocks rally to the test. I mean, yeah, later on in the week, I think, but we're not waiting for that. We're essentially watching right now to see what signals do we see start popping up. What else is in the news that we need to know about? What did I say? As soon as we're convinced that the Fed is done raising rates, they are immediately going to talk about, well, when are they going to cut them? And here you go. Why the Fed may not cut rates as soon as investors hope. And that's probably true, but they're going to talk about it, right? But they're going to talk about it. Okay, let's keep going. What else? Yeah, I think that's about it. 7.6 trillion of US government debt will mature in the next year, adding pressure to rates. Yes. Interesting. All right. The economic calendar. No, excuse me. Excuse me. Let me move on to well, yeah, let's look at the economic calendar. That was next on our list. Sorry. I was like, did I skip something? This morning we have new home sales. There's no expectation there for anything. Tomorrow, consumer confidence. It's expected to drop a titch, but as long as it stays around 100, it's pretty fine. A lot of Fed speak going on Tuesday. We're really less concerned about that. If anything, it's beige book on Wednesday. GDP comes out on Wednesday. That's a GDP revision for Q3. They're not expecting any revisions. As of now, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'd like to see GDP growth staying fairly strong. Thursday, we have the inflationary data. We have income, spending, and PCE. There's some good amount of information coming there. We also have our normal jobless claims, but there's no reason to expect anything there. We haven't even gotten there near 250 for weeks. And Friday, really pretty light. We do have Jerome Powell speaking, but it's to a local business conference, so we're not too worried about what he's going to say there. Okay. That's what's happening this week. What is our posture for this week? What do we see? And I would love if anyone wanted to weigh in and tell me where you were, and or do you see it differently, the same? Another good jump. I mean, the market has just strengthened over the course of these last 4 weeks significantly, every aspect. The long-term trend really never did much. It only dropped a little bit. So that never went even to neutral. The major market never went negative. Everything else went negative. Everything went negative. Short-term trend went negative. Volume went negative. Sector rotation. Sector rotation didn't. It went back to neutral as well. Okay, so the VIX went negative. All right, so it got down to where we went into a negative score, but we've had a big, strong push. It's broad. We like the sector strength. It's broad. The money flow is good. The appetite for risk is good. The selling pressure has now all but disappeared. We looked at it and we have 2 selling days left, and other than that, there was literally one selling day in November. essentially is what it looked like, right? It's been strong. Steven said we are looking for a strong ending to the year. Agreed, 100%. Yeah, everything is lined up. The fear, the institutional, in this case, confidence is there, and we're right back into not neutral. We stomped right through to bullish again. So, yeah, what does this do for me? It allows me to take more risk. It allows me to have more trades. It allows me to anticipate. It allows me to extend my risk management or my trade management to not take half, but take more like a quarter or a third, somewhere in that range. I want to push more with more of the trade. I'm not going to take profit in 6 weeks ago. I was saying I'll take profits in 2 days, right? When we were in that market, when things were choppy and things were dropping and moving around, I was like, if I have profit, I'll take half of it in 2 days, and then I'll manage the rest. And at that time, that was for me the right thing to do. Right now, no way. I'm going to push. Let's see if this thing can go. You see how it wants to keep going. You think it's like, oh, it's ending. Nope, it just keeps going. Right? We want to be in that, a part of that. So that's what we're doing with the recognition of this, is giving ourselves the license, the liberty to move forward with it. And this tells me I'm going to push a little bit. Okay. So that's the posture. That's the posture. We know what the economic calendar has, not a lot of potential for disruption. Let's take a look at, we know the futures are down a little bit, but to what context? So let's just go back to the SPY as we got 2 minutes before the market opens. The context was already one of overbought, hitting some resistance, expecting some type of a consolidation. So we're not like, oh my gosh, the futures are down. Great. Futures are down. Might be a day or two, might be 3 days, 4 days. Our expectation, until proven otherwise, is that this is going to be a consolidation. It's going to consolidate. I would say with the SPY, we did have this gap. Maybe just not entering the gap. Maybe that's where I would look for a support level. It's hard to say as this thing comes down. For me, this consolidation is going to be important in defining the trend. Right? Because where's my drawing tools? This is theoretically my last low. I have one here. I have one here. I know this is not a sustainable short-term trend. Right? Like, I wish I could tell you otherwise, but you're not going to find that just pushing for a while very often. What we're looking for from this point here is, where's the next point going to come? Is it going to come in there? And I can draw this kind of a line. That looks like it would be sustainable. And all of a sudden, now I start to have what I might expect the next trend to be. That's what I'm looking for coming out of this consolidation. Where's that going to go? That's going to be very helpful information for us. There's the opening bell. Okay, the opening was down only 0.1, right? 0.12. And it's immediately buying pressure coming in. So what we'll do is, of course, watch and see. You can see that immediate buying pressure. But we give it 20 minutes. I give it 20 minutes. 20-minute opening range. So we're going to watch that opening range and get a sense of what's going to happen. But yeah, there's no rush. That's what it tells me. We're opening in here. Let's jump into the watch list. We have a good sized watch list right now. What does that mean? It means that the market is healthy. So one of the things if you noticed, if you've been with us for a while, the search is confirmation. Right now, if I just run, I don't know if this thing is refreshed this morning. Let me just do that. If you run this search, this basic bullish search, this basic bullish search is in your welcome doc. Like literally everything. If you go click that, you will run this exact search. The number that comes back, let me circle this right here. There was a time where that was under 100 when we were in late September, early October, right? Hardly anything was coming back. Which meant what? At the time I said, look, if you're like, hey, I'm very bullish, run a search. Tell me why you're not finding bullish stocks, right? It's hard to be bullish. You can't even find them. So this is a confirmation. So we've gotten increasingly bullish. Remember, I told you that there's maybe 300 or 400, well, maybe 400 or 500 stocks that exist in the market that I'd be willing to trade options on. Like 3,500 stocks trade options, but the vast majority of them are trashed. They don't have enough volume and open interest. And the spreads are wide. It's very inefficient. And the tendency is to lose money trading those, right? They have a significant disadvantage in trading them. So my world is, I want to absolutely ensure that when I trade options, I have high liquidity. And this is the way that I do it. 325. So right now, there's a lot of bullish things. This is why that if there's anything, if you thought to yourself, my watch list, and maybe yours is exactly like ours, although I forgot to update it yesterday. So I'll do that this morning when I do today's recording. But if you wanted to do a search and you said, you know what, I'm going to go through technology. I've got some good stuff. We have Apple, Microsoft. We've got some software, some chips, some AI related stocks. But you might say, let's go see. There's 55. We have CrowdStrike. We had Dell. I got rid of it. We have Intel. We have PLTR. We have these on our list. But I would want to go through. If you do this, you start at the sector, and then you go to the industry. And you go one industry at a time. And you decide, do I need a communication equipment? Nope, I don't need that one. It doesn't look good enough, right? Okay, great. Let's go to computer hardware. Now we have Dell, and we have Arista Networks, and we have Seagate, and all these. We have SMCI on our list. We had Dell, we got rid of it. Would I consider Arista Networks? Yeah, I would. I'd be like, oh, that stock does look pretty good. Moving up, pretty strong. And you decide how many from any given group. This ensures that we have diversification amongst the different. We have Apple, of course we do. Electronic component, right? And so you're going through this and you're deciding, if I was going to pick one or the other, I'd pick this one. Well, we have that one actually on our list. We've already got a lot of these. We've been working on our watch list. And nothing there. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing with that. We have IBM. Would we want to add any of these? That's the thought process. Are you beefing up your watch list? Okay. Speaking of watch list. What happened on our opening range? The buyers made a run early. Got it all the way. Look how close they did to filling this gap. Here's the last candle from Friday. And then this is how close we got. And then it just scampered away. And now we're right back down, and we're down 0.25%. This is why we watch the opening range. This is why we wait for the opening range to get broken. It's very easy to find yourself wanting to assign implications too soon. And you have to just kind of remind yourself, there's a process here. Follow the process. Great, it's going down. We still have 14 minutes before we even make any kind of a judgment at all. And then we can say, all right, what happened? This is an interesting long shadow up here that represents like an early attempt that was just overcome. We'll see what else it brings. Okay. Okay, so that's the context. What do we have going on? We're looking for this consolidation. We have a pretty strong list starting with Apple. This is perfect, right? We've said this could be it at this point. 1, 2, 3. 3 small candles of pullback. Absolutely. If you look backwards over here, let me get this to be an arrow. So if you look at this right here, and then you look at this over here, 1, 2, 3, and then it turns. Right? Yeah, this one got down a little to like 60, and here we're down around. Look, it's set up. At this point, for me, I want to be ready. Right? Apple looks absolutely enticing, ready. Not ready, getting ready. The consolidation that we've wanted to see. Okay. Let's keep going. Adobe maybe starting to come into play. Insurance pausing. Maybe these are still moving, so no, nothing there yet. Same with AMD. Amazon, we said we're still waiting. APH overbought, pushing up. AXP overbought. So not everything. I mean, but the fact that Apple's coming down, Adobe's coming down, those two I like. I had Amazon, but I'm going to take Amazon off my short list. I want to keep my short list just the things that are already pulling back. Boeing is a maybe. It's maybe starting. A lot of maybes out there. There we go. BX. BX is on the list. Absolutely. A nice consolidation. We can see that it's clearly turned over here. This is pulling back. What are we looking for? Well, that's probably my zone at this point, I would say, is like this, right? There's my zone. It's going to come down anything in that box. It's almost a no-brainer. When it comes down in here, you know this is going to be coming down with it, and then bing, this turns. That's what we're looking for. And then at that point, let me change the color. At that point, we would say this is our support level. So our stop would be somewhere below that. And then our target is to look for another one of these, right? So what are we looking for? We're looking for, something like this, where it's getting back up near that high. Yeah, that's where we're getting 3-to-1s right there, right? That's a look back. Can we expect that kind of a thing to happen? When this thing moves, it can move, right? You can really catch some pieces on this. Yes, that's exactly what we would be looking for on this. So now what? Now I wait to see where does it go down for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days? I don't know. I'm bullish. I'm expecting less and less from the consolidations because of my market posture improving, right? BX on the list. Citigroup on the list. You might be thinking that one's not pulling back much. Look at this. This is pulling back. This is the sellers. The sellers have the floor. Just like they had the floor right here for these days. And what did they do? Nothing. So what's the thought process? It could still come down into this range, or it could just simply turn. And I would have to, I would be like, I think I'm going to trade that. I mean, it depends, obviously, if I can catch it before Sometimes they move fast and you find yourself losing your reward to risk ratio. I think this one looks great. Citigroup's on the list. Okay. Stop me if you have a question on any of these as we're looking at them, right? Because like I said, we're in the C's. We have four. We have technology, consumer, technology, software. We have and two financials at the C's. Capital One. I'd put Capital One in there if you wanted to. Actually, as another financial. This one's a little choppier, so I'd say maybe not. I don't like the way that it looks as much as the other two. We have two. We'll leave it at that. COP, no. Costco, that's the one that gave a signal last week, right? That gave the signal we're looking for exactly last week. I think we asked if anyone traded this one. We're right up in here. Bam. What does that give you? That gives you a support level. You put a stop loss below that support level. You put a target. Where would you put your target? At a higher high, up in this area somewhere. What if it gets to the old high, which is just about where it is? That's where you would sell half, although not half anymore. Sell a third. You'll notice it's not after 2 days. It's after 4 or 5 days that it would get there. And when it gets there, you sell some. You tighten your stop, right? I mean, the stop would already be tightened. If you look at the Heikin Ashi on this tells us we could have moved our stop already a few times. Right now, as of now, for today, the stop, I think, should be at least here. And then tomorrow, it will be here. And then the next day, and it's going to keep on walking up these stairs. It could be one of these where it gets 4 or 5 more days. Or at least if it gets up into this target, if it gets to the target, that's where I'd be done. Will be done. Okay. Heikin Ashi. CPRT. I think CPRT is a strong one from the industrial section. And you can see that same kind of the sellers are there, but they're not doing much, kind of a weak consolidation. This thing is parabolic right now. Really strong, just kind of shot up. And you might think, oh, it's overblown. Parabolic can do it like 1 or 2 more times. I mean, it really has a lot of potential. So this one is definitely on my list. CrowdStrike. Whoops, let me get this out of the way. CrowdStrike, not yet. I'm still just waiting for the consolidation to begin. DHI, yes, that's in consolidation mode. You can see the sellers have really, since this day right here, this is the sellers. This is how far it's come down during that time. That's not much. They really haven't even come close to filling the gap yet. We're almost in an oversold area. When this turns, I think we have it. And it's not just here. If you look at the home builders, XHB looks the same. If you look at other builders, PHM, Pulte Homes, they're all very, very strong. Okay. Here's the Dow today, paused a little bit. EA, overbought, nothing for us yet. Fastenal, maybe starting to turn over. That's also in the industrials area. So you can see that our list of potentials that are setting up is pretty broad. Nothing for us in gold. Look at gold, new highs. Interesting. Google. I mean, we were looking for Google to come down, and you can see that the stochastics is, but it's already starting to just show this strength of here's our flag. This might be it. We don't know how far it might come down in here. Yeah, I'd put Google on my list. Already is. GPS, no. Overbought, overextended. Home Depot, overextended. So there's some strength in consumer discretionary, but they're also overbought, and there's not much there. IBM overbought. I love it, but it's overbought. Okay. Consolidation has begun. So I am going to add this to the list. ICE. Oh, does it flag? Does it consolidate down a little bit? How far does this come? We're just looking for anything in our list that's strong, that's starting to show these types of consolidations. Well, Intel already did. It gave us 2 days, and what happened? Well, it looks to me like it's finding a support level. You can see this is starting to pinch right here. Yes, this absolutely might be it. And when this turns, you have to decide, am I going to go? Same kind of a thing here. Gave us just this little consolidation before what? Bam, bam. Elliott wave, if you're a fan, tells us we have one more wave coming. even in a fairly parabolic climb like this. So I think Intel absolutely is a fantastic looking setup. A lot of strength. The sellers really have just been overwhelmed. They haven't been able to push it down. We'll see what it does. So yeah, I have Intel on my list. Do we have so what do we have? We've got tech, financial, and industrial. DHI is kind of a consumer discretionary home builder, but it's really more of a overlap between industrial and discretionary. Small caps down a little bit today. We'll see. Sellers aren't doing much with it, right? Even if it comes down a little to here, if that's all that happens, that looks great. Now we have a trend. Okay. Let's keep going. JP Morgan starting. So you can see there's a couple of financials that we've already seen and a couple that are a little behind in technologies the same way. Some technologies already started, some are still pushing at resistance. So we might have kind of two separate mini windows. Great. That gives us more opportunity. This one's still just overextended, not really much pullback yet. Meta. Just like Google, this may be the flag. And if it breaks out of this, that might be all you get, and you got to decide. And if you decide, that's too hard for me to trade, I get it. I might only take one like that. So, yeah, definitely. Okay. Microsoft. Microsoft really hasn't started pulling back yet, right? Netflix, same thing. NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA now. We have another chip stock. So NVIDIA and Intel both look strong. It pulls back. Volume drops off. I'd say this would be my zone. And you can see we're a little bit sitting on top of that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see if this cooperates and gives us a trigger here. So is NVIDIA on the list? Oh, 100% yes, it is. Right? 100% yes. Okay. PDD. Overbought, nothing for us. PGR. Running out of steam. So if you're in the insurance, they just keep kind of grinding, but it looks like now as the entire financial sector is coming into play, it looks to me like the banks and brokers are starting to move into a leading position, and that the insurance might be slowing down. We'll see if that happens. PLTR setting on up, getting ready for me. Love it. Looks great. It's pulled back. You can look at this volume. You can see as these candles got smaller. We're We're just waiting for the buyers have definitely slowed down. You can see it on the candle. You can see it on the volume. The sellers have slowed down. What are we waiting for? Buyers. Bam. Just give us some buyers. And this thing will turn on up. And we're ready to go. Where's it heading? Look, let's higher highs, higher lows, my friends. That's why we like them. If we have a higher low, the next thing we would expect in that pattern is a higher high. So now we start to see what? Well, the options. This one's a little better. It's not cheap options still on something like this. I would never expect them to be cheap right now. A whole lot cheaper at 60 than they were back here in the high 70s and the 80s. So even here, now we're not down at this level like we got down to for not very long, but for a little period back here. Yeah, let's keep an eye on it. PNC. Oh, another one. Another one. Beautiful. Goes up. Comes back down. Consolidates. This was a tough one. This is what I mean when I say you can miss entries. That was everything we were looking for. But by the time you looked at it, what if it was up here? You're like, yeah, there just wasn't a lot of meat left. There was some. What now? Now we have another consolidation. Now it's coming into this area here. Now we're just looking for it to turn. That's it. Just looking to catch this thing. Boom, boom. And then what? Well, I think we could catch one more of these moves on up to test the old highs. And then that completes the cup. All right. Hopefully you can see why I'm excited. Look at this. That's a financial QQQ. Looks like the Qs are flagging. Looks bullish. RCL still looks bullish, right? This looks like this is consumer discretionary. This thing is, look at that bullish candle right there. This is starting to pinch. Yeah, this is about to be a go again. And who knows if this thing takes off. Consumer discretionary. Starbucks. I said Starbucks has to do it now or it's not going to happen. It's there, but it needs one more step. Give me the buyers. I need the buyers. Today's the day to decide. Ah, there you go. Thank you. I knew you were in that one. Press. Shopify. Look at Shopify just stomping its way forward. SMCI looks like a buyable opportunity setting up here. I like PLTR better, but if you're a fan of SMCI, very similar. SPY. Okay, we now have our opening range. You can see the sellers, the buyers made an effort and it came down. Now the sellers have tried a little bit. It's wandering down. Hard to say right now, right? Hard to say. Nobody's really in control. The longer it takes for the sellers to test the water, though, the more I think we're going to see the buyers push this thing the other way. Tesla had a little volatility this morning. I think Tesla is still a setup. The sellers have had a week and they haven't done anything with it. Tesla's on my list. UBS still overbought, maybe starting to pull back. UNP, there's another industrial. UNP moving on to the list now with this first day of consolidation moving in. Visa, not yet, overbought. The VIX. So the VIX got down to 12.5, its lowest point since the pandemic. Everything about it looks good. Even still. The puts were cheap. Here's my line of consolidation right now. I would say like this. If it breaks through that, I'm gonna put a half of a hedge on. If we come down and we do something like that, I'll put more of a hedge on because I'll be like, I don't like the way that looks. I'd still be bullish. I'm still bullish at 13. That's for sure. That's just, buying some cheap insurance when I have the ability to. WMB overextended. Did not take that trade. Now I'm like, oh, I should have took that one. Okay, Walmart trying. That's the first key level. It's kind of that halfway point on that red candle. If it can't get through that level, it's in a lot of trouble. And might still be able to hold on to this and just go on a base, but it could definitely go the other way. Here is energy. Whoops. Minus the lines. Energy's kind of flat down at the bottom. Financials look strong. Industrials look strong. Staples look steady. Utilities look steady. Big list, broad list. A lot of things on our watch list that look good. But we're still looking to be patient. It's not a slam dunk here. Make sure you get the signal. Make sure you wait for the buyers to come in. You set up your stops, your targets, your time frames. You have your reward, your risk. It looks good. Your time frame. The options are pretty cheap right now, so there should be plenty for us to trade. Real quickly now and remember, tomorrow's the last formal session of the foundations. We're going to do a trading case study for a bullish trade and one for a bearish trade. Just kind of show some things. And then on Thursday, we're going to have a wrap up. It's just going to be a free Q&A session. So any questions, all you got to do is show up and you have an open forum to ask any trading question you want. Hopefully they're somewhat related to the Trading Foundations course. I would imagine they would be somehow. So, as far as this week's trading plan section, we are working on 5 routines. Daily routines. What do you do before the market opens? What do you do during market hours? And you might have multiple windows during market hours. What do you do after market close? So it should be when, for how long, what routines, in what order. Weekly. I have one weekday or one weekend day, Sundays. I do a little bit before we meet. I do a little bit after we meet. A lot of what we do during our meeting is my routine. I mark a posture. I clean up my watch list. I search for new candidates. I review the economic calendar. Right? All of that is on my list. What else? I'm going to make sure that my log is up to date, and I'm going to go look at the analytics to see if there's any information there that would be useful to me that says, oh, be careful for this, do this better, monitor this, etc. Yeah, that's it. Monthly, quarterly routines. That's more your trading plan routines. There's analytics in there, right? So maybe if you get 25 trades once a month or every month, then that's when you'll go do a full scale look at your analytics, compare it to last month's. Is it on track? Yada yada. Quarterly, same kind of a thing. Is like you look at your trading plan. Are all the most recent updates and tests that you've run in your trading reflected? Have you updated the rules and the routines to be reflective of what you're doing? You'll find that you push, and then you start to see some space between when you work on now I look at my trading plan once or twice a year and look at it and say, yep, okay, this not much has changed here. This has changed, because it just doesn't. It's very steady now. So there you go. We're watching. Market's showing a little bit of selling pressure, which is exactly in line with our trading posture, not our market posture. Well, kind of both. Our market posture is that we're bullish. Our trading posture is that we've been at resistance levels. We've been overbought. We've had to be cautious and show patience, waiting for consolidations. We're seeing the consolidations for new entries. We're waiting for triggers. We see 2 different sets. Some have already started and are 3 or 4 days in, ready to go. Some are still just kind of right at the top, ready to roll over. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Questions, comments, or concerns? How's everybody feeling? How's everybody trading? I'm feeling cautiously optimistic for a couple of Santa rallies here at the end of the year. I'm ready for it. Give me your thoughts. It's quiet today. It's quiet because everybody's studying their charts, making notes of the trades they're gonna make. I know it. All right. Well, look. Yes, I will take a cautiously optimistic press says. I will take a look at those press. Sandra, concentrating on paper trading, love it. Great endeavor. Absolutely should be taken advantage of. So I love that you're doing that. Let's plan. I don't know if I gave us enough time. Let me look at the schedule. Maybe we'll meet tomorrow morning if I can in the Discord. If not, we'll definitely do Thursday again. If you're on Discord, pop on this week and say hello. If you're trading something, if you see a setup, I'll be in there trying to facilitate as well. But we'll try to schedule a couple of formal sessions and see how that works. All right, I got to run. It's great to see you all. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow evening. I'll see you again Wednesday morning for the midweek check-in. And as always, happy trading.